Voltaire was France's clearest, most prolific, and most enduring voice of dissent. Voltaire, or François-Marie Arouet, was born on November 21st, 1694, in Paris, France. He exercised his literary skills by writing satirical verses, as well as a play, Oedipe. The manuscript was completed in 1715. In 1716, however, Voltaire was exiled from Paris due to an epigram against the regent, and was banished to the Bastille in May 1717. Oedipe was finally staged after Voltaire was released in 1718. Its success caused him to become known as France's preeminent poet and spurred him to adopt the pen name Monsieur de Voltaire. Voltaire was once again sent to the Bastille in 1726 due to strife with the Chevalier de Rohan. Afterwards, he was exiled to England for 2 years. His exile to England transformed him, as Voltaire witnessed religious tolerance and a model of political freedom. His biggest inspirations were the works of John Locke and Isaac Newton. From Locke's thoughts, he adopted the critique of the notion of innate ideas, the role assigned to philosophical inquiry as the means for best determining the limits of human understanding, and the acceptance of the unknowable nature of the essence of things. This day consolidated his militant opposition to intolerance in politics and religion, and also made him a partisan of British sensualism via Locke and the new philosophy of scientific method via Newton. On his return to France, he published Temple of Taste, which contained his praise of French classicism, Age of Louis XIV, Epitry à Uranie, an early challenge to the notion of divine goodness, and the famous philosophic letter. In his 1759 philosophical tale, Candide, he attacked the idealist doctrine of pre-established harmony and the best of all possible worlds. Candide was written largely in response to the death of 30,000 victims of the 1755 Lisbon earthquake. Voltaire believed that the ultimate explanation for the reality of evil exceeds the bounds of one's understanding. Voltaire abandoned any claim on a metaphysical explanation of human affairs, proposing instead that we cultivate our garden, meaning that we focus on local and practical concerns. Also in France, Voltaire became the greatest advocate of Newtonian physics, for it is from Newton that he drew the notion that the universe is a manifestation of the existence of God, and that gravitational physics appears to prove that matter submits to the laws decreed by its creator. Allying Locke with Newton thus led Voltaire to a theistic vision consisting, on the one hand, of admitting the existence of God, conceived as the sole necessary being, but without saying anything about God's attributes nor the ends of God's creation, while on the other hand admitting the existence of a finite and contingent matter that requires divine aid to be set in motion. During 1734, he lived in exile with his mistress, Émilie du Châtelet, until her death in 1749. For a number of years prior to Emily's death, Frederick the Great of Prussia had sought to bring Voltaire to Potsdam and Berlin, and in 1750 Voltaire took up the offer. But the nearly 3 years he spent with Frederick ended in bitter disillusionment for both parties, due to a quarrel with Frederick about a diatribe against Pierre-Louis Moreau de Maupertuis, published by Voltaire, led to his departure from Berlin in 1753. After numerous years of moving back and forth across the Franco-Swiss border, Voltaire purchased the Chateau of Ferney, just outside of Geneva in 1759. In February 1778, Voltaire decided to return to Paris to produce his last play, Irene. His return was considered a legendary moment in French cultural history, and Voltaire felt as though he was being killed with glory. Voltaire died the night of May 30th, after a long life of